So, breaking news. O.J. Simpson has been granted parole. I've done my time. I've done it as well and respectfully as I think anybody can, former NFL star says. O.J. Simpson was granted parole Thursday after more than 8 years in prison for a Las Vegas hotel heist, successfully making his case in a nationally televised hearing that reflected America's enduring fascination with the former football star. Simpson, 70, could be a free man as early as October 1st. By then, he will have served the minimum of his 9 to 33-year armed robbery sentence for a bungled attempt to snatch sports memorabilia and other mementos he claimed had been stolen from him. All 4 parole commissioners who conducted the hearing voted for his release after about a half hour of deliberations. They cited his lack of a prior conviction, the low risk he might commit another crime, yeah right, his community support, and his release plans, which include moving to Florida. Thank you, Simpson said quietly as he buried his head on his chest with relief. As he rose from his seat to return to his prison cell, he exhaled deeply. Then, as he was led down a hall, the former athlete raised his hands over his head in a victory gesture and said, "Oh God, oh." Simpson's sister, Shirley Baker, wept and hugged Simpson's 48-year-old daughter, Arnell, who held a hand over her mouth. During the more than hour-long hearing, Simpson forcefully insisted, as he has all along, that he was only trying to retrieve items that belonged to him and never meant to hurt anyone. He said he never pointed a gun at anyone nor made any threats during the crime. I've done my time. I've done it as well and respectfully as I think anybody can, he said. Inmate number 1027820 made his plea for freedom in a stark hearing room at the Lovelock Correctional Center in rural Nevada, as 4 parole commissioners in Carson City, a 2-hour drive away, questioned him via video. Simpson, gray-haired but looking trimmer than he was in recent years, walked briskly into the hearing room, dressed in jeans, a light blue prison-issue shirt, and sneakers. He laughed at one point as the parole board chairwoman mistakenly gave his age as 90. The Hall of Fame athlete's chances of winning release were considered good, given similar cases and Simpson's model behavior behind bars. His defenders have argued, too, that his sentence was out of proportion to the crime and that he was being punished for the 2 murders he was acquitted of during his 1995 trial of the century in Los Angeles, the stabbings of ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ronald Goldman. Before the hearing concluded, one of the dealers Simpson robbed, Bruce Fromog, said the former football great never pointed a gun at him during the confrontation, adding that it was one of the men with him who did so. Fromog said Simpson deserved to be released. He is a good man. He made a mistake, Fromog said, adding the two remain friends. Arnell Simpson, the eldest of Simpson's 4 children, also testified on his behalf, saying, "We recognize that he's not the perfect man, but she said he has been a perfect inmate, following all the rules and making the best of the situation. We just want him to come home. We really do, she said. Simpson said that he has spent his time in prison mentoring fellow inmates, really, often keeping others out of trouble, and believes he has become a better person during those years. Asked if he was confident he could stay out of trouble if he's released, Simpson replied that he learned much during an alternative to violence course he took in prison, and that in any case, he has always gotten along well with people. I had basically spent a conflict-free life, he said. Yeah. Except when he beat up his ex-wife. A remark that lit up social media with scornful and sarcastic comments given the murder case and a raft of allegations he abused his wife. In a final statement to the board, he apologized again. "I'm sorry it happened. I'm sorry, Nevada," he said. "I thought I was glad to get my stuff back. But it just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it, and I'm sorry." Several major TV networks and cable channels, including ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, Fox, MSNBC, and ESPN, carried the proceedings live, just as some of them did 2 decades ago during the Ford Bronco chase that ended in Simpson's arrest, and again when the jury in the murder case came back with its verdict. Simpson said if released, he plans to return to Florida, where he was living before his incarceration. "I could easily stay in Nevada, but I don't think you guys want me here," he joked at one point. "No comment, sir," one of the parole board members said. That's a good one. An electrifying running back dubbed the Juice, Simpson won the Heisman Trophy as the nation's best college football player in 1968 and went on to become one of the NFL's all-time greats. The handsome and charismatic athlete was also a Monday Night Football commentator, sprinted through airports and Hertz rental car commercials, and built a Hollywood career with roles in the Naked Gun comedies and other movies. All of that came crashing down with his arrest in the 1994 slayings and his trial, a gavel-to-gavel live TV sensation that transfixed viewers with its testimony about the bloody glove that didn't fit and stirred furious debate over racist police, celebrity justice, and cameras in the courtroom. Last year, the case proved to be compelling TV all over again with the ESPN documentary O.J., Made in America, and the award-winning FX miniseries The People vs. O.J. Simpson, American Crime Story. In 1997, Simpson was found liable in civil court for the 2 killings and ordered to pay $33.5 million U.S. to survivors, including his children and the Goldman family. Then a decade later, he and 5 accomplices, 2 with guns, stormed a hotel room and seized photos, plaques, and signed balls, some of which never belonged to Simpson, from 2 sports memorabilia dealers. Simpson was convicted in 2008, and the long prison sentence brought a measure of satisfaction to some of those who thought he got away with murder. So, Simpson says he's going to keep himself out of trouble. I'll believe it when I see it. I guess now he is 70 years old. Maybe he's not as likely to get into trouble, but as I say, I'll believe it when I see it. As far as I'm concerned, O.J. Simpson's an idiot. He's a moron. He managed to beat a double murder rap back in 1995 in the trial of the century. He was found not guilty of murdering Nicole Brown Simpson, his ex-wife that he used to beat the hell out of, and Ron Goldman. And yet, this idiot, instead of trying to lie low and start a new life, he goes and gets himself in more trouble, committing more crime. Like, I don't know. This guy seems pretty thick upstairs. I must say, at one point, I myself didn't believe that OJ was guilty of those two murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. But and the main reasons were, number one, well, the gloves didn't fit him. And as Johnny Cochran famously said, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit. But the main reason I didn't believe him was because all he had was a little cut on his finger. And my thinking was that if he stabbed two people to death, he was 49 years old at the time, if he had stabbed Ron Goldman, who was a 25-year-old tennis-playing athlete, and his ex-wife, I know that if someone came and tried to stab me, I would put up the fight of my life. Whether or not I would win that fight, I don't know. But all I know is I wouldn't be going down without a fight, and I would make sure that that person looked like they'd been to hell and back. That was why I personally didn't believe that he had stabbed these two people to death and all he had was a little cut on his finger. Especially a man that's half his age and athletic. But of course, OJ, being the idiot that he is, decided to go on and write a book called If I Did It. Why would you write a book called If I Did It if you were not guilty? When he was asked to enter a plea in that case, he said absolutely 100% not guilty. And he insisted that once he gets out of jail, he's going to be looking for the real murderer of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. I wonder if he's found him. Well, my feeling is that OJ is guilty of those two crimes. I think he did commit double murder, and he just got away with it because he got himself a dream team of lawyers that included the late Johnny Cochran, as well as I believe his name was Rob Kardashian, the late father of Kim Kardashian, and several other, I think he had 5 lawyers that managed to get him off on this. If it was any ordinary person that went through the same trial, we either A, would have ended up serving life in jail with no chance of parole ever, or B, we would have been executed. So it remains to be seen whether or not OJ keeps himself out of trouble. I don't think he will, but hey, he might prove me wrong. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. Found that to be a rather funny line.